87% of people are unknowingly putting a massive strain on their hearts every single night just by laying down in the wrong position, and the consequences are far more than just a stiff neck or a groggy morning. Imagine if I told you that the simple way you align your body on your mattress could be the difference between a healthy cardiovascular system and a life-threatening stroke or deep vein thrombosis. We spend a third of our lives asleep, yet we treat it as a passive state where nothing happens, when in reality, your heart is working overtime to fight gravity and circulate blood through miles of veins and arteries. Most of you are waking up with microclots or elevated blood pressure simply because your sleeping posture is forcing your heart to pump uphill against its own anatomy. But here's the twist. There is one specific, scientifically backed position that acts as a natural mechanical pump for your vital organs, and almost no one is using it correctly. You've likely heard that sleep is the time for recovery, but for millions, it's actually a period of high physiological stress. When you lie on your back or your right side, you are inadvertently compressing the vena cava, the largest vein in your body, which is responsible for returning blood to your heart. This compression causes a backup, increasing internal pressure and forcing your heart to beat harder just to maintain basic oxygen levels. This chronic nocturnal strain is a leading silent contributor to hypertension and long-term arterial damage, yet most doctors never mention it during a standard checkup. If you've ever woken up with numb hands or swollen ankles, your body is screaming at you that your circulation is being throttled. Wait until you see what happens to your internal organs when we flip the script and use gravity as an ally instead of an enemy. The real danger lies in the formation of silent clots, or thrombosis, which often begins in the lower extremities during periods of stagnation. When your blood flow slows down during sleep because of poor positioning, it creates a sludge effect in your veins, significantly increasing the risk of a clot breaking loose and traveling to your lungs or brain. This is exactly how many unexplained morning strokes occur, as the sudden shift in pressure upon waking dislodges a blockage that formed while you were dreaming. Most people miss the warning signs because they attribute leg cramps or heaviness to a long day on their feet, but it's actually the result of 8 hours of mechanical obstruction. Don't skip ahead. The game-changing tip that reverses this process comes at the midway point of this guide, and it requires nothing more than a simple adjustment of your pillows. Before we get to the ultimate solution, we have to look at why current habits are failing so miserably. Many of you think sleeping on your back is the neutral choice, but for anyone over the age of 30, back sleeping can trigger a collapse of the soft tissues in the throat, leading to sleep apnea. Apnea doesn't just make you snore, it causes oxygen drops that spike your cortisol and put your heart into a panic state hundreds of times a night. This cycle of stress is a direct pathway to heart failure, yet we continue to lie flat because it feels traditional. Contrast this with the right side sleepers who think they are doing themselves a favor, only to realize that the right side actually puts the weight of the liver against the stomach and the heart, impairing the lymphatic system's ability to drain toxins from the brain. Comment yes if you've experienced unexplained fatigue despite getting 8 hours of sleep, because this postural misalignment is the likely culprit. Now, let's pivot to the 70% of this guide that focuses on the actionable transformation you need to implement tonight. The most powerful position for heart health and stroke prevention is sleeping on your left side with a specific 3-point alignment. When you lie on your left side, your heart stays in its natural position, and the aorta, the largest artery, is actually positioned to pump blood downward using gravity rather than fighting against it. This reduces the workload on the left ventricle and allows for a much smoother return of blood through the vena cava, which is situated to the right of your spine. By staying on the left, you are literally giving your heart a mechanical advantage that lowers your resting heart rate and stabilizes your blood pressure throughout the night. Most people miss step number 3 of this setup, the leg elevation, which is what actually prevents the thrombosis we discussed earlier. To implement the heart shield position correctly, you shouldn't just roll over and hope for the best. You need to create a structural support system. Start by placing a firm pillow between your knees, which aligns your hips and keeps your spine neutral. But more importantly, it prevents the top leg from crossing over and compressing the femoral vein. This keeps the venous pump in your legs active even while you are unconscious. If you find yourself rolling onto your back during the night, try the tennis ball trick, or place a long body pillow behind you to act as a physical barrier. Try this now and see what happens. Lie on your left side and take 3 deep breaths, and you will notice your chest expands more freely than it does on your back. This is the first sign that your internal organs are finally moving out of a state of compression and into a state of optimal flow. Let's look at a real-world case study of a 55-year-old patient named Robert who suffered from chronic edema and high morning blood pressure. Robert was a lifelong back sleeper who frequently woke up with pins and needles in his legs. After 3 weeks of switching to the left side elevation method, where he also slightly elevated the foot of his bed by just 2 inches, his peripheral swelling vanished and his morning systolic blood pressure dropped by 12 points. This wasn't because of a new pill, it was because his body was finally able to flush out metabolic waste through the lymphatic system, which drains more efficiently into the thoracic duct located on the left side of the body. If you struggle with acid reflux, in addition to heart concerns, this position is a double win as it keeps the stomach below the esophagus, preventing nighttime heart palpitations triggered by gastric distress. Option A is the standard flat back sleep, which we now know increases apnea and heart strain. Option B is the right side sleep, which slows down lymphatic drainage and puts pressure on the liver. And option C is our target, the left side triple point system. Troubleshooting this transition is key because many people complain of shoulder pain when they first switch. If this happens to you, do not go back to your old way. Instead, adjust the thickness of your head pillow to ensure it matches the width of your shoulder. This prevents your neck from kinking and keeps the carotid arteries clear, ensuring that blood flow to the brain is never restricted. The real secret comes at the 130 mark of your habit building. It takes exactly 14 days for the subconscious mind to accept this new position as the safe default. So don't give up if you wake up on your back for the first few nights. For those of you worried about deep vein thrombosis during long periods of rest, there is an additional micro-solution you can add to this position. Before you close your eyes, perform 10 ankle pumps, flexing your feet up and down rapidly while lying on your left side. This primes the pump of your calf muscles, which are often called the second heart of the body. By doing this, you ensure that no blood is pooling in the deep veins of the lower legs as you drift off. This is especially critical for anyone who has a sedentary job or has recently traveled. The game-changing tip is to combine this left side positioning with a slight elevation of the head, roughly 15 degrees, which has been shown in clinical studies to significantly reduce the risk of nocturnal strokes by preventing the sudden spikes in intracranial pressure that occur when lying perfectly flat. As we move toward the final implementation, remember that the goal is to make your sleep an active period of cardiovascular healing. Most people ignore the relationship between sleep posture and heart longevity because it seems too simple to be true, but the physics of fluid dynamics don't lie. When you reduce the resistance your blood faces, you reduce the wear and tear on your valves and vessels. This isn't just about feeling rested, it's about structural preservation. If you feel a thumping in your ears when you lie down, that's a sign of turbulent blood flow, and it's your immediate cue to shift to the left side supported position until the sound dissipates. You are essentially acting as your own cardiologist through the simple application of geometry and gravity, ensuring that you wake up with a heart that is refreshed rather than exhausted. To truly master this, you need to understand the multi-layered benefits of the glymphatic system, which is the brain's waste clearance pathway. Research shows that this system functions at its peak when we are on our sides, particularly the left, as it facilitates the removal of beta amyloid and other toxins that are linked not just to heart health, but to neurological longevity. By choosing this position, you are simultaneously protecting your heart from thrombosis and your brain from cognitive decline. It is a holistic approach to aging that costs nothing but requires a disciplined commitment to changing how you interact with your pillow. Save this guide for the step-by-step breakdown of pillow placement and the specific ankle pump exercises, as you will want to refer back to it during your first week of transition. In conclusion, the path to a healthier heart and a stroke-free life might be as simple as shifting a few inches to the left. You have the power to turn your bedroom into a recovery suite by simply respecting the way your circulatory system is built. Don't let another night go by where you are unknowingly straining your most vital organ. Watch next, the 5 foods that thin your blood naturally, for deeper insights into preventing clots and keeping your arteries clear. Make sure to save this guide for the step-by-step breakdown of the triple point alignment. Finally, subscribe for part 2, where I reveal the specific type of mattress firmness that is scientifically proven to support this heart-healthy position and prevent chronic back pain. Your heart works for you every second of the day. The least you can do is give it a break while you sleep.